Ever felt like a ghost in your own home, unseen and unheard? That was my childhood. I grew up in a house where love wasn't spoken. It wasn't shown. It simply wasn't there. My parents provided for me. Yes, there was food on the table and a roof over my head, but the emotional pantry was bare. I spent years searching for a reflection of love in their eyes, a hint of pride in their voices, but I found only emptiness. This absence of affection became a heavy cloak I wore everywhere. I became a people pleaser, desperately seeking the validation outside that I never got inside. I'd bend over backward for friends, for partners, for anyone who offered a crumb of warmth, terrified they'd leave me in the cold if I didn't. I believed my worth was measured by how much others needed me, not by who I was. The turning point wasn't a grand revelation, but a quiet, painful moment of clarity. I was sitting alone after yet another relationship had crumbled. I had given everything, molded myself into what I thought they wanted, and still I was left with silence. In that silence, I heard a question echo in my mind. Who are you, really, when you're not trying to be someone for somebody else? I had no answer. It was terrifying. I realized I had built my entire identity on a foundation of sand, on the shifting opinions and affections of others. The love I was so desperate for was a mirage, and I was dying of thirst in the desert I had created for myself. That day, I decided to stop searching for water in the desert and start digging my own well. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. I started small. I took myself on dates to the movies. I bought myself flowers. I started a journal, not to vent about others, but to ask myself questions. What makes you happy? What are you passionate about? What do you want from your life? At first, the pages were blank. I didn't know the answers. But slowly, painfully, words started to appear. I rediscovered a love for painting I'd abandoned as a child. I started hiking, finding solace in the quiet strength of nature. For every time I had craved a good job from my parents, I learned to look at my own accomplishments, big or small, and tell myself, you did well. I'm proud of you. It felt awkward, even foolish at first, but with repetition, that inner voice grew stronger and more confident. I learned that the absence of love from others doesn't have to create a void within you. It can, instead, create a space for you to plant your own garden. To cultivate self-respect, self-compassion, and an unshakable sense of self-worth. You see, when you're not given love, you are forced to become its source. And that kind of strength, forged in the fires of solitude, is unbreakable. It's a love that no one can take away from you because you built it yourself, piece by piece. It wasn't about blaming my parents. It was about taking responsibility for my own happiness. I had to become the parent I never had, the loving partner I always craved, and the best friend I desperately needed. Today, my life is full. I have healthy relationships built on mutual respect, not desperate need. But the most important relationship I have is the one with myself. The unspoken truth is this: the deepest love you will ever find is the one you create within. If you're feeling unseen or unloved, know that you hold the power to change that narrative. Your worth isn't determined by anyone else's inability to see it. It has been inside you all along, waiting for you to discover it. Start today. Ask yourself, what do I need? And then, be brave enough to give it to yourself. That is where your true strength lies. Please subscribe to Story Vault for more inspiring videos. Thank you for watching.